Hi, in this video I will tell you about my personal experience with problem definition and customer interviews, and you'll also see the mistakes that I've made and hopefully learn from them. As I have been involved in service business, in technology business, and currently also product or fashion business, those will be 3 examples that I will be giving you today. First example, service, comes from my experience building Hungry Lab and serving clients at McCann Erickson. When you are performing a service, there are several pitfalls that you can fall into. And one of them is focusing on the sexy part, being in love with your solution. Another one is doing what the client is asking for and what they think they need, not what they really need. In advertising, the sexy part is the creative part, photos, ideas, videos, but the real strength of solutions and campaigns lie in the strategy. And the strategy is based on understanding the underlying problem. So in advertising and design, you need the creatives, of course, but you also need research and looking at the numbers and understanding them. But in service, you actually need to do the problem interviews for every client and every project, because no project is the same. That is why services are hard to scale. Each case is unique. I want to tell you about the Mobily case we had. So Mobily CEO was Carlos Andersons, my boyfriend at that time, now husband. And he came to me and had this idea that they should design a really cool website that everyone would share, and they would gain popularity with the pay for parking with a text solution. Now you must keep in mind that it was not such a bad idea, as on the year 2007, there were few interesting websites and people were actually sharing cool online solutions. But when we looked at the problem the client was in, we suggested a different solution. The company was then called City Credit, and we suggested rebranding, because a company called City Credit did not feel like a very friendly and technologically advanced pay for parking with a text company. And we got that from talking with people. So we realized that rebranding is the way to go, not creating a very fancy website. Second example, tech. One of the most successful solutions that I have built in my life was done without a goal to make money. But it has ended up earning money without significant investments for about 10 years now. We built the Bird web engine exactly on the problem. So many of our friends came to us and asked for a site and we could have tried to service them and earn a little money from each one, and that would be a service solution. But we scaled this and made a product to suit creatives who wanted online portfolios. We did not ask for money, but 2 years later saw that thousands of people were downloading our free tool. And those are not just from Latvia, but also from Netherlands, Spain, and other countries. That's when we realized we might ask some money for that. And we built on the problem again. We talked to our users and saw that the next issue they are faced with is hosting and maintaining the website. So we introduced the next level of our product. If Bird users wanted to host and maintain their website on our servers and use our maintenance services, they would pay a small monthly fee. And they gladly did. Third example, my physical product, the current business that I'm building, it's clothing for hugs, and it's kind of in the fashion business too. Now, Be With Idea was built on the research that I told you about, on the Grant study, which main conclusion was that warm relationships make us happier, healthier, and wealthier. And they also said that loneliness kills. And I found through multiple other researches that there is a loneliness epidemic in this world. So the data was showing that there is need for this and there is a problem. But the question here is whether people understand that there is this problem and whether they are ready to pay money for something like that. Now, my solution, Clothing for Hugs, had this question. And I had fallen in love with this idea. So here I would say that it was my mistake that I didn't research too much about the problem itself and whether people realize it and were ready to pay for it. I just had this idea, fell in love with it, and built the product, clothing with secret passages that allow it to touch skin. I did do some research. Here are the results for my small research on couples and trying to figure out what are the most important factors that they think make a good relationship. And I was happy to find that people did realize that physical contact is one of the top factors that influence our relationships. And I also had another question. So I was asking, which part on your body are you most willing for your partner to touch? And these were also very interesting results, because I found out that back is the most important part and people want their backs to be touched. And this is how I designed the product afterwards. The secret pockets were on the back. And when the product was ready, I did another research. I sent out a questionnaire to all those who bought it and tried to figure out what they liked about it and what was the reason that they bought it. And here I found that the problem I was solving was not what I had expected to solve. I thought I will be giving people a chance to hug, but actually I was giving them the perfect gift for their loved one. And understanding this difference has made a lot of impact on my business about how I communicate about my product and what channels I use to talk about it. So while it is important that you believe in your idea and that you base it on some assumptions and your values, it's also super important to understand your customers, the problem that your product is actually solving for them, and use that to do business.